As most of you already know, a man was shot and killed by Derbyshire police armed officers on Friday the 7th of October in an incident that seems to have a lot of people asking questions. Now, I realise this report on the incident is late, and that's due to trying to catch up on all the other incident reports due to not being able to put any out last Friday. Marius Ciolac, I think that's how you pronounce it, was shot by police after allegedly brandishing a knife in a secure police car park of Ascot Drive police station, and later went on to die, an incident which has been passed on to the IOPC to investigate as yet another mandatory referral. Reports now suggest that Marius had been suffering from mental health issues, and this seems to stem from the fact that he had allegedly taken money from his wallet, wrote something on the notes, and then told people he no longer needed it, according to his brief Theo Ade. Although I wouldn't suggest this is exactly conclusive evidence that Marius was in the midst of a mental health crisis. We all know the government are doing their very best to remove cash, so although Marius was giving it away, maybe he was simply a conspiracy theorist. Yes, that is a stretch, but it is still a possibility. Marius had been in trouble with police previously and appeared in court on a few occasions, but the only offence that I have found being mentioned anywhere is that he had a fight with what seems to be a previous boyfriend of the woman Marius was with. However, the CPS is said to have dropped those charges. As mentioned, Marius was in a secure police car park, and the fact seems to be reiterated in all the reports that I've seen about this incident. Therefore, there was no threat to the public. The police station would have had 20 or 30 or more police officers in at the time, with a weapons storage area full of Parva, CS, batons, tasers, plus the weapons Plod would have had on their belts whilst on duty. But yet someone decided to call for an armed response vehicle. In general terms, I would agree with that, had it not been highlighted so often recently about people being shot for apparently no real life-threatening reason. And the outcome of this incident simply strengthens the argument that armed police don't seem to be able to be trusted anymore. At the time of the incident, the IOPC said in a statement, "The Independent Office for Police Conduct is independently investigating a fatal police shooting outside Ascot Drive Police Station in Derby this morning," which was Friday. "We were advised by Derbyshire Constabulary that at around 9:55 AM, officers inside the station reported they had seen a man carrying a knife inside the station car park. Armed officers went to the scene and a police firearm was discharged at approximately 10:03 AM. The man was taken by ambulance to hospital in Nottingham, where he was sadly later pronounced dead. Our investigators are at the scene to begin our inquiries and at the police post-incident procedures, where the officers involved are providing their initial accounts. We can confirm at this stage that a knife has been recovered from the scene. We understand the man has not yet been identified." IOPC Regional Director Derek Campbell said, "Our thoughts are with all those affected by this tragic incident. It is vital there is an independent investigation into all of the circumstances that resulted in this man's death. I would like to reassure people that we will conduct a thorough and detailed investigation into what took place. Our inquiries are in the very early stages." A witness to the incident is said to have heard an officer shout, "Drop the knife," before hearing 3 gunshots. There was a load of police officers running over to the corner. There was loads of shattered glass of car windows smashed, said James Douglas, who works on an industrial estate next to the station. "I could see the aftermath of what happened. I've been going back and forth all day to try and wrap my head around it. If some knife-wielding maniac can run into the police station, how safe are we as a society?" Sounds to me like the statement of an off-duty copper, to be fair. There was no indication that Marius was a knife-wielding maniac. In fact, he could have been taking the knife into the police station to hand it in. We simply don't know at this stage and likely never will. Marius's brief described his former client as intense when he first met him, which could indicate that an interaction between Marius and the police was intense, but again, we cannot say for sure. Marius is believed to have lived in a house which backs onto the complex where the Derbyshire police station is located. Of course, as I've said many times, if someone's acting in a manner that's an immediate threat to life, either to that of the public or that of the police, then action needs to be taken to secure people's safety. However, to me, this yet again seems like a trigger-happy cop who's not seen any action for a while. If Marius was in a secure police car park, then where was the immediate risk to the public? If Marius was in a secure police car park and the doors to the station are keycard entry only, especially at the back of the station, then where was the immediate risk to the police? If the ARV unit was called, why did the officers not simply use the vehicle as a shield while talking Marius down? If the ARV parked outside the car park and they went in on foot, why didn't they use other vehicles as cover whilst talking to Marius? If Marius was wielding a knife, why didn't any of the police there consider using a taser or parva spray? Lots of questions still. In fact, if Marius was having a mental health crisis, then he could have not been able to understand the police's commands. As we know, their tactic is to disorientate a person, which I always thought was a bad idea to do to someone with a gun or a knife. But with multiple people shouting commands, if you're in a crisis or have other mental health issues, you can easily become confused. Now, I watch a lot of documentaries, including some about armed forces and police and missions when missions they go on. When they're on a mission, there will be somebody on point, someone leading them, someone telling them what to do, and somebody in charge. When police response go to an incident, is almost like a free-for-all. Why is it that when you have 2 or 3 armed police in a vehicle, that one of them for that incident or for that day is the gun-toting trigger-happy narcissist, and the others arm themselves with a taser or parva? Releasing a gun from a holster can be done in a second. So in a situation where you have one alleged armed assailant with a knife and say 3 armed police, why doesn't one have the gun unholstered, one have a taser and one have parva? Work your way up the lethality of tools from the less lethal to the most lethal. Some of you will of course tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, but I have actually had to talk someone down who had a knife once. And I have been in a lot of fights where you would start by talking to the person, trying to calm the situation and de-escalate before escalating it to the point where force is needed. And those incidents occurred in the street, not in a secure car park of a police station. I genuinely hate to say it, but to me it seems like the police have once again completely ballsed up in this incident. Whether he had a knife or not is actually irrelevant for this argument, because at the material time, Marius was an immediate threat to either the police or the public. And before people start praising the police for their actions here, they need to remember that. Under common law, if you hit someone, shoot someone or stab somebody after or before there is an immediate threat, then it's not classed as self-defence and can't be lawful. Police in this instance so far appear to have done just that. Now again, we will need to wait and see what information is released over the coming days and weeks. But I think it's safe to say that Marius should still be alive today.